All right. Hello, I'm Michael. He's Abdul. We are here back with our bi-monthly updates. As disappointing as I need to say that is, but it is. Today, we're going to talk about some few things that are somewhat exciting with our platform. We actually had our MHP release, launch last week, was it? Gosh,
Yeah, last
it
week.
feels like longer than that
Yeah.
ago already. So that got pushed out. A bit probably overhyped in our minds because we didn't really push any emails out to anybody.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we should talk about that first. I think we
Yeah.
should talk about our cold feet
Yeah.
and our issue with pushing the product. And I think you had a really good statement you said about you shouldn't wait
Yep.
until you're
Yep.
comfortable pushing
Yep.
it out,
Yep.
right?
Like if you're happy with what you pushed, you shipped too late, right? Like if you're happy with what you
Yep.
shipped, like if it's something that we look at after 6 months and we'll be like, oh, what were we thinking? That was the right time to push, right? Like if you're like, oh no, if we thought it out well, we then pushed it out late. I think we do. It's not like we just didn't push ship it. We did have some good points and some good reasons for doing what we tried to do, but there definitely was some cold feet, like from unexpected places, because I was thinking like it would be more coming from my side, and like the whole thing, just how it went and how it happened, but I think it did give us some time to kind of fix up a few things, get them more tied down. So I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think when you say unexpected places, that is me.
Yeah.
So I think it was me, and I think we actually have the email ready, written. All the people we're sending our pre-beta launch to, ready to go. But there's one feature more than the other, right? There's one that I think needs to be released before we can say that people can get on the platform. And we probably should have thought about it sooner. And that's probably more my mistake. Like we should have realized that that's something that if we want anybody to use this platform at any level and pushing sites live, we needed to have this feature. So we're treating it as a hot fix, and hopefully maybe by Wednesday or Thursday this week, we're sending that email out to people. I'm getting more and more requests now, so that's kind of fun to see and hear about. People are liking that the price is coming down compared to what we currently have at the WP Help. So that's a cool, fun, thing. The thing that's there that we released it.
Yep, and I
So
think like this would have happened like whenever we would have decided to do it, right? I think this whole kind of this first kind of the first pushing the button kind of thing. I think this happens
yeah,
like if even if we would have fixed this issue, I think something else would have been there for us, right? So I think this is part of the process and something we have to kind of acknowledge, and okay, we have to work with it, we have to get through it, kind of a thing, because this is like
yep, I agree.
it had to happen. Like we need it. Like any launch we look at, any people we talk to, this is like a very common theme across launches.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Well, I think as we've gone through this process, we've kind of realized that there was a disconnect between even myself and you, and then I would even say even you and the team, of what was necessarily getting done or planning and what we were hitting. And I think our new process that we've put into place has really helped solve those
Yeah.
problems, right? Like this last sprint we've had is the best sprint and that's a good thing to see, right? That every sprint, I think we were kind of like this to start, like up and down a little bit, but now I feel like we're starting to build,
Yeah.
and now we're really starting to push through stuff. So I
Yeah.
think we're starting to see some good results
Yeah,
there.
because we had our
Why don't you
first,
talk
yeah,
about?
we had our first demo after the new process last week. Then we had it this week, both. So it's like both weeks were good. So we're seeing that consistency built in, and I think uh, one thing that we had a lot of tools. We were using tools. We were using Jira. We were using Bitbucket. All those tools are still there. But I think I think this is when the whole MHP thing happened, and we were like, okay, this is something have to be fixed, and they have to be fixed urgently. So I think that's when I think it was all like, get away with the tools. Let's get back to like sheets. Let's get back to the bare bones of things, and I think that's what worked. Like the guys are more clear on it. We are more clear on it. So I think sheets, even though having all these tools as well, sheets sometimes they get the job done
Yep.
better than most other things. So yeah, so that's something other developers have to think about, and especially like, okay, you can have tools, and I think if the tools are not working, or you need something more, you need something more bare bones. I think we shouldn't be okay. We have to use the tool kind of a thing. We have to let's get on with the sheets. Let's plan on sheets and Google Sheets like solves most of the problems. And I think our whole process right now is based on those Google Sheets. We still have Jira, we still have that whole thing going on, but we are kind of now doing daily updates. We are running stand-ups based on the. So what we did is basically you know before the team was like, okay, me and you had our ideas of what we wanted to do, got them translated to early developers, and then it followed that they worked with their team. So it went okay, but when the MHP came, we said, okay, there's a slight disconnect, and like in some places the disconnect was more, in some teams the disconnect was not as much, right? Well, okay, we need to start solving this issue. So I think what we did is we kind of pulled up a sheet and let's do the whole planning together kind of thing. We're not a big enough team right now. I would say we're not like 200 people that we can't have 200 people in one
Yeah.
place and plan together. We're still small, so let's make use of that agility and kind of plan together, do updates together, and then we have a sheet. Every sprint planning, we make a sheet for the sprint. All the tasks go there. Now there are some tasks that we don't plan for, which we know, okay, there's an improvement task, there's something that will come up, so they get expanded as we go, kind of the task. So we put in a certain number of hours, and then they keep getting expanded as the actual tasks start coming in them. But otherwise, most of the things are planned. We planned for 80%. And now another thing that we have started doing is for the last few days is that the stand-ups are run also from that sheet. So the
Great.
evening stand-up that we run it from that sheet. So instead of having notes and things like that, everyone updates them. Okay, this is the update, and then they update the sheet as well there and then. So the sheet remains updated, and then Jira is automatically updated. We're using the integrations for that, so that remains updated. But everything is done from the sheet. Eventually, we want this all to go into Jira, like be updated there as well. But I think we are a few, maybe 6, 8 sprint cycles away from that kind of culture being built in, where everything can be managed on Jira again. Right now, it's all on Jira, but it's all on like there's a little bit of duplication going on. But right now, it's like
Yeah.
a needed thing. We need that.
And I think one of the cool things, we played a little what I call development poker,
Yeah.
right? Where they say the number of hours they think something takes. I and Abdul say this is how long something takes, and then the lead will say, hey, this is how long something should take. So obviously you're still holding everybody accountable of what they expect and how many things they think they can get done within a sprint, right? So it's not like you're throwing too much stuff in there, or at least have enough stuff. And then also, it's almost like the definition of done, right? Hey, what's done? And us really understanding what those things mean and how they are then show up in the platform for everybody to use. So I think with that, it kind of talks about how we've gone to our MHP. We launched, like I said, a pretty anticlimactically, nobody really on it at this point.
Yeah.
We've developed a new process. We talked about our cold feet and how we're going to push forward and through that. And I think it's probably something a lot of people go through, is the cold feet. And now we're looking at the beta, right? So now we're T minus 20 days, I think,
Yep.
21
Yeah,
days.
20 days.
So we're close. We're starting to think about what those things are going to finally be. I mean, to be honest, I feel very comfortable with where we're going to be at with beta. We have a very solid product right now. It just, like I said, if we get past these one or two things pretty quickly, the platform is more than usable for most people at this point. Anything you kind of want to talk about as we're looking at the beta and moving forward?
No, I think right now, like I'm telling the team right now that most of the foundational work for, let's say, the features that we'll have for the next 6 months is already done. The foundational work is done. We have the foundation for updates, we have the foundation for backups, we have the foundation for security. Now it's more about building on the feature, like the richness of those features. We have a very bare bones backup feature, and now we have to make that feature rich, right? So this is always comparatively more stable. We had a lot of instability at the start because we wanted to push through the foundational features, because that's what I was pushing. That was in my mind, that okay, we could have done backups later or something later, but I was like, okay, let's get the foundational stuff done for everything, because the foundational stuff is where you have instability, incompatibilities going on. Like just today when we were in the discussing with the team, for a new backup system we need a different kernel version or different operating system versions. Now if this would have come 6 months later, as a feature, this would have become a big problem,
Yeah.
right? Because updating those things. So that the idea to push through these, foundational features was to have this whole compatibility thing sorted out. So now we know, okay, we have the bare bones setup done. Now we have to build upon those features, make those features more rich, give those features more options, more, flexibility depending on the use case. I think the platform will just get more technical. That's what I always tell the team, that sometimes when they get stuck, I said, if you can't figure this out, you have to, because right now everything is not technical. We don't have clients, we don't have people, thinking about things will just get technical. But at least we now have the foundational work done for them. Okay, we have the foundational work. We have chosen, okay, how the backups would run, how they'll be stored. Okay, now we have to say, are we giving hourly backups? Are we giving, daily backups? What kind of things are we giving? How are we giving the restore options? So all those, the foundational work is done, kind of a thing.
Yes, no, I agree. I think the time spent on those foundational issues, well, I'll say somewhat frustrating for me because I can't see those on my end, will set us up for success in the future, which is good. So the last thing we'll kind of talk about is just like the hiring, planning for the future. We're obviously starting to ramp up support, right? As we get more and more people on the platform, more and more tickets come in, whether that's from our platform or issues or just the support we're trying to provide, right? And do more for people than what they're used to seeing in regards to a platform. So we're starting to plan for the future a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good update of what we've done so far to date since our launch. I think, like I said, we'll have a big week this week launching, letting people know to get on the platform. I do know that somebody has. I was just on a podcast and they mentioned that, oh, hey, you've been documenting the whole process. So I thought that was cool for people to see. And hopefully, I have people watch this process as we go through it. While it hasn't been necessarily weekly like we hoped, we're definitely hitting the high level stuff as we go through it. I will say from the business side of things, we lost some momentum and traction on gaining clients just because my focus has been spent elsewhere. But now I think we're starting to get back into that. And I think we have a number of calls lined up this week that hopefully will land some more agencies and be able to continue to grow our base as we move forward. So I think that's a great weekly update from BionicWP. I'm Michael. He's Abdul. Have a great day.